How y'all doing? Are the cameras rolling? Okay, test pattern number 3, Moor Mother. Welcome to the ICA. My name is David Riley. I'm a curator of performance here. And I am very, very excited to announce tonight's performance with Moor Mother in collaboration with Ohbliv, cellist Elijah Hall, Vitche-Boul Ra, and justmadnice. I'm sure you all know all about Moor Mother, but I'll give a very brief introduction. Moor Mother is an amazing poet, musician, activist. She's a very prolific musician. She records not only as Moor Mother and released multiple studio albums. She is also a vocalist for a number of other projects. Those include Irreversible Entanglements, More Jewelry, and 700 Bliss. She was touring Europe only 2 days ago, so she's traveled thousands of miles to be here, so I'm very excited about that too. And she's also the co-founder, along with Rashida Phillips, of Black Quantum Futurism, which is a collective that explores physics, Afrofuturism, nonlinear time, and a bit about the other collaborators. You all know Ohbliv probably as Richmond's very own producer. Elijah Hall is a cellist, also from Virginia. The 2 other artists are both from Philadelphia, singer justmadnice and performance artist Vitche-Boul Ra. So a few house rules tonight. Please keep your masks on as much as possible. If you do need to leave the auditorium at any time, please use the 2nd floor entrance if possible. And I think that's it. Have fun. As far as the run of show, the performance will run about an hour, we'll say. 20 minutes of intermission after that. You can get more refreshments if you like. And then we'll regroup in here for a conversation, which will be moderated by Caitlin Cherry. And I would like to pass the mic to Caitlin Cherry now, so please join me in welcoming her to the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Caitlin Cherry. I'm assistant professor of painting and printmaking here at VCU. It's my great honor and pleasure to be your MC this evening, and to be the one to moderate the conversation after the fact, but also to introduce Moor Mother and also this ensemble cast of Ohbliv, Vitche-Boul Ra, justmadnice, and also cellist Elijah Hall. When I think about what is going to happen tonight, I think about, just the depth and breadth of all the things that each individual performer of tonight does, and I don't truly believe that the terms that are typically used to define people who do all of the things are even sufficient to capture all the things that they do. So I'm thinking about the terms like transdisciplinary, postdisciplinary, antidisciplinary, multidisciplinary is not enough in this case. David was talking about half of the performers here are coming from Philadelphia. Is there any Philly folks here? Woo, one person. Woo! But I bring that up just to say that as somebody that comes from Chicago, I'm always amazed by the level of innovation of folks who come out of the great city of Philadelphia. And the other half of the performers are here local Richmonders. So we have Elijah Hall, who is repping VCU. Let's give a shout out for that. But also Ohbliv, who is a local producer here. So I just wanted to say a few things before everything begins, which is that as somebody who has had the great opportunity to collaborate with Moor Mother very recently, me and Moor Mother were given the opportunity to work together for a performance at Pace Gallery in New York just this past September. So I had the opportunity to be a part of the ensemble. Right now I'm playing a different role, but we got to organize a performance around a painting installation that I had. So I got to see Vitche-Boul Ra up close as an audience member, and that was the first time that we met. Moor Mother is somebody who I've always admired. I really appreciate the work that she does with Black Quantum Futurism, which is an awesome Philly-based collective, particularly dealing with issues around Black futurism and also social justice. And I think that when we were brought together initially, it was more of a spiritual kin type of connection, as two people who meet and have no rapport ahead of the fact and are able to kind of do the thing. And this is what's going to happen tonight. So what I feel like is going to happen tonight is what I would call cosmic. And by cosmic, I just mean that, I'm thinking about two celestial bodies that meet. I'm thinking about their gravitational pull. I'm thinking about how they can affect their weather. I'm thinking about how stardust turns into everything that we are and why we are here. I'm thinking about sentences that are unfinished. I'm thinking about what we see out of our periphery. I'm thinking about there being no rehearsals, just vibes. Anyway, I'm about to get on the stage in a minute. No, with that said, I think that nothing else really needs to be said. I'll see you all at the end of the show to moderate this panel, and I would like everybody to clap their hands loudly as we welcome Moor Mother and this ensemble cast. Please give a round of applause.
It's the journey. How many miles, minutes, light hours, how many days, how many days, minutes, light hours, how many days, how many days, wait. The journey, the wait, the waiting, the waiting, the waiting, the journey, the minutes, the seconds, the light hours, the journey, the waiting, the waiting on you, the waiting on you, the waiting through the madness in the mind, in all the minds, the anxiety in all the minds, the mind, my mind is made up. The waiting through the madness, my mind, all mine, waiting through the madness. We've been, but no one's seeing or believing or giving a fuck. The waiting, the journey. the journey. The journey. On you, the waiting on you, the weights, the weight carrying the back, breaking, bending, the neck broken, the neck scraping the rain, the neck breaking, the neck scraping the rain, the back broken, the hollow, the hunch over the hollow. How long must we wait on you? Wait through all the drama, the theater, the performance, the mass, the waiting, 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 the waiting. The wait, the creeping, the haunting, the halo, the high low, the halo, the low hums, the halo, the low hums, the waiting. How long? How long? How long? How long? Waiting for the train. Waiting for the train. One-way ticket out of here. One-way ticket out of here. I'm waiting on the train. I'm waiting on the train. Got my ticket. I'm waiting on the train. One-way ticket out of here. I'm waiting on you. You coming along the river. The train is coming along the river. I'm waiting on the rain. On the rain. Didn't it rain? Didn't it rain? Brothers and sisters, theys and thems. Didn't it rain? Didn't it rain? Didn't it rain? So wet, didn't it rain? There's no blues without the sun. See, there's no blues without the sun. There's no day. There's no day. There's no day. Without the sun, no daydreaming when I am thinking of you. No daydreaming when I am thinking of you. There's no blues without the sun. No blues, no blues. Low hanging, lower south, Alabama red. There's no blues. The London, Virginia company. There's no blues. Thick tobacco, fat pockets, hungry pigs, poisonous eyes, red eyes, nighttime suns. Was it supposed to be nice? Was this supposed to be nice? There's no day. There's no day. Only tomorrow will I see you tomorrow. Will I see you tomorrow? On that strange cosmic road, will I see you tomorrow? Will I see you? Will I see you? Will I? Will I've been surviving. I've been surviving. Will I see you? Will I see you tomorrow? I've been surviving. I've been surviving. I get out all the boxes. I get out all the boxes. Will I see you tomorrow on that strange cosmic road? Will I see you tomorrow on the other side of the sun? There's no day. There's no day. There's no day. There's no day. Will I see you? Will I've been surviving. I get out. I got out. I get out of all the boxes. I get out of the darkness. There's no day. There's no day. 'Cause I seen it. I've seen it in the hell it came from. Stormy weather. Stormy weather, I seen it. Black bottom mama's daughters, I seen it. In the hell it came from. See, in each life, some rain must fall. In each life, some rain must fall. Not on my mind. Not on my mind. What they think. Not on my mind. Not on my mind. My mind. Not on my mind. Not on my mind. All mine. All mine. Not on my mind. What they think. See, they ain't known of their own selves. Not on my mind. Not on my mind. What they think. Blues and memory. Blues and memory. In memory. In memory of all of us. Not on my mind, my mind. Free and lost. Not on my mind, mind. Red River, Dixie and Technicolor, Paramount Riverboat, The New Minstrel. The New Minstrel live at the Opera House, starring Daniel Decatur Emmett. And this one is in memory of all of us. Of all of us. This one. Memory. Memory. Louisiana. Mr. Tambo and Mr. Bones. Old Zip Coon, Banjo Bones, Ivory Tambourine. Tennessee Fish Jubilee Singers, late 1800s, authentic. Authentic. Without a timepiece, authentic. Free and lost. Free and lost. Old ball and chain drag me everywhere I go. Mastered by the clock. Old ball and chain drag me everywhere I go. Mastered by the clock. These times ain't true. Time, mastered by the clock. This time ain't true. These times, these choking times, these times ain't true. Time flies at the courthouse. Ain't that the truth? Mastered by the clock. Well, these times, this time ain't true. These times ain't true. This time's not true. These times not true. These choking times. These choking times. These times. Well, don't be truth. Don't be truth in Virginia. Don't be truth in the courthouse. Don't be truth. Don't be truth in the eyes of politicians. Don't be truth. Because the truth will do you no good this time. These times. The truth will do you no good these times. These times. And Thomas Stanley said, our strength is the truth. of time. But these times ain't true. These choking times, the air is leaving. Our brother, the wind, is leaving. Our ocean mother is leaving. Time flies with the tide. Time flies in the courthouse, ain't that the truth? Well, don't be truth in the eyes of vultures. Don't be truth after it's all been bought and paid for. Don't be truth looking inside the sonic mirror. It may recognize you, pull you in. Space, time, continuum. Now, was it supposed to be nice? Was this supposed to be nice? Nighttime suns, darkness skies, no blue without the sun. Without the sun there is no day. No daydreaming when I am thinking of you. There is no day, only tomorrow. Will I see you tomorrow? Who will survive America? Who will survive the cosmos? A desert on fire. Brass drums on the other side of the sun, the invisible shield, a universe in blue. Next time you go out, listen. 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 All that history, dust and stars. A landscape full of color. Black mountains, blue birds. Next time you go out, listen. 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 Lady Noon, sunlight, sweet music. Listen, 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 listen. Listen. Empires of God in gold. Next time you go out, listen to the healing force, the universal force, the healing force. Next time you go out, listen. A landscape full of color. Black mountains, blue birds. Vultures circling, we not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid, it's nation time. It's nation time. It's nation time. For real this time. This time. For real this time, it's nation time. The do-over the time machine. It's nation time, time. It's nation time. For real this time. The do-over the time machine. On the corner with real life sounds. On the other side of the coin, a family, currency, and sound. And sound. And sound. In sound. Together in holy sound. A sound waving back to you. Go back and fetch it. The sound waving back to you. Go back and fetch it. The sound. The sound waving back. The sound waving back. The sound waving back to you. Go back and fetch it. Go back and fetch it. The sound. The sound. Wood stained words. The sound waving back to you. Go back and fetch it out in the world. On earth. Find yourself out in the world. On earth. On earth. To touch down on earth. On earth. On earth. Touching down on earth. On earth. On earth. On earth. 3,000 hours in a minute. On earth. Mansfield Plantation, Georgetown County, South Carolina. Magnolia Grove. Valley of the Sugar Mill. Santa Rosa. Rosewood, Jefferson County. $3,000 hours in a minute. Jackson Ward. 3,000 hours in a minute.
just to get over the Bridgewater Canal, Trent River, James River, George Dock, the Queen's Dock. And I don't hear no prayers. I ain't hear no prayers. 2 weeks ago I went to Rome and I didn't hear any prayers coming from the Vatican. I didn't hear any prayers, no Hail Marys. I didn't hear any prayers. Temporal ownership. 6 a.m. to sunset. Got me a timepiece. The old ball and chain drag me everywhere I go, doing time. Wages of the tardy. Got me a timepiece. The old ball and chain drag me everywhere I go, from the valley of the sugar mill all the way down to Rosewood. Back up to Jefferson County, Mississippi, Magnolia Grove, Georgetown County. Ebenezer Baptist Church, Manfield Plantation, 3,000 hours in a minute. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, cut from the same cloth. Black flag, wait a minute, cut from the same cloth. Black flag. Black flag. Like my only sword, swore it off all the stress I couldn't afford. And they think they really saying something, they think they really saying something. They keep talking about what they gonna do, they keep talking about what they going to do. I ain't heard shit. I ain't heard. I ain't heard. I ain't seen. I ain't seen. I ain't heard. I ain't heard. I ain't heard. They keep talking about what they gonna do. I ain't seen shit. I ain't heard. 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 They make I ain't heard. I ain't heard. See, they can't afford to see us, to see you rise up. Out of folklore, out of the guts of colorism, racism, they can't afford to see you rise up. To see you rise up. Rise, rise, we are always We are always returning. Earth, a rush of fire and water hiding for its feelings. We are not the water's reflection. Cause you know they got them good. They got them real good. They got them real good at the courthouse. You know they got them real good on the balcony. At the graveyard, at Robert E. Lee Elementary, you know they got them real good. Over there in Jefferson County, they got them real good. You know they got them real good. Over there in Jackson Ward, you know they got them real good. The line. And now we come to the line. The line. The recollection. The awareness of breath. The pause of the heart. The pause of time. The pause of numbers. Solitude and company. Remembering. The awareness of the heart line in the company of memory. Of memory. And memory. But before we go, let us state the facts. Before we go, let us state the facts. Let us state the facts. We must be leaving. Meet me in the quantum archives. We must be leaving. We must be leaving.
And who's gonna pay for all the memories? Because they're gonna lock up all the memories, make you pay, turn you out. Junkie nostalgia. You're gonna find yourself at the Met with a bomb demanding back your memories, all memories. You're gonna find yourself armed to the teeth at the British Museum demanding back all your memories. You're gonna find yourself at Virginia Commonwealth University demanding back your memories, the artifacts, the bones. The bones. You're gonna find yourself at Yale demanding back all the bones. You're gonna find yourself at the University of Pennsylvania demanding back the bones. Read the bones. Read the bones, the bones, the bones. Read the bones. What do they say? What do they say? What do they say? Read the bones. Read the bones. What do they say? What do they say? What do they say? Read the bones. Before we go, let us state the facts. The facts.
the facts. I was there, let me state the facts. Before we go, let me state the facts. I was there. Before me, after you, we was there. We been here on earth. We been here, I was here. Before earth, read the bones on earth. Before earth, read the bones. We was here. We was here before earth, on earth. Read the bones. We was here. Dreaming. Liberation technologies, innovation, math, science, relations. We was here. Explorers of love and magic and ritual. We was here. We been here. Before we go, let us state the facts. Let us state the facts. We've been here. We've been here. State the facts. You better hold on to your dreams. Hold on to your traditions. You better hold on to your secrets. You better hold your dreams tight. Hold your dreams tight. Protect your secrets. Keep your secrets. Protect your energies. Protect your energies. Because the vultures are circling, but we are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We ain't never scared. We ain't never scared. We are not afraid. We ain't never scared. We are never scared. No more master's clock, we travel the spaceways. We don't care what the fuck they say. What the fuck they say, we don't care what the fuck they say. No more master's clock, we travel spaceways, ways. We see through the ways, the ways. The ways, the ways, all the ways. All the ways. All the ways. The ways. The ways. Sing the song. Sing the song and let them know. Let them know. Let them know. Smooth sailing on your last breath. On your last breath out of here, it was beautiful. Sing the song and let them know. That it was beautiful. And it wasn't the drugs. It was never the drugs. See, what they can do to you is stronger than any drug. It's the weight. The weight. The waiting. It's the weight of the southern breeze. The weight. Sweet loaves and sweet chariots coming to take us home. Cast us out the theater of freedom. Sing the song and let them know that it was beautiful. So sweet, so sweet on me, so sweet on me, so sweet. It's all right. It's all blood, it's all right. Crypt keepers of violence, it's all blood. It's all right, so sweet on me. So sweet on me. It's all love, it's all love. It's all love, it's all alright. So sweet on me. So sweet. So sweet on me. So sweet. It's all blood. It's all love. Crypt keepers of silence. It's all blood. It's alright. So sweet. So sweet. Thank you very much. Please give it up. I don't see. Okay.
Check, check, check. Hello? Good, good, good. Cameras rolling? Black magic too, yeah. Better run. Get that black magic. This is what production is like. Here we go. Good? All right, test pattern number 3, Moor Mother conversation. Before we start, I just want to give a few more acknowledgements. Thank you for this wonderful performance, first of all, but also I would like to thank the crew who helped make this possible. So we have Vanna on sound tonight, Russell on lights. We have amazing camera crew, Katya, Meta, Will, and thank you to the VEAs as well, Ren and Julia. Emerson, front of house, everyone who helped. And I also want to mention that we do have Moor Mother's latest album, Black Encyclopedia of the Air and ICA Shop. That's all I'll say. And I will turn this over to Caitlin. Thank you very much.
We need applause when all necessary. I don't even know if this is on, but I can, yeah, it is, okay. I'll yell, either way. Thank you everybody for sticking around, and thank you all for that wonderful performance. I loved it, I was thoroughly enjoyed. I hope that everybody else feels the same. I just wanted to start off with just kind of like, I want to test the room. Like, how does everybody feel about what just happened? you know, let's just keep it like, I don't know if you ever do a postmortem after a performance, but I'm just kind of I just want to hear about how you feel.
Well, hey everybody. I'm still reeling. I'm still pretty high. I'm still buzzing right now. We did it on the fly, you know, just to be transparent with everybody. But that's, in my opinion, where the real work, the real art comes out. You know, so I'm still reeling. I'm still up here right now.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about working with Moor Mother is, this is my second time, but I just love the freedom in it and the trust and the opportunity to just be present and hello. Yeah, but everybody in the room was listening to each other and creating from that space. So I just feel like this, whatever this is.
Yeah, it was nice to come back to Virginia. You know, I was here about 10 years ago. I was coming here a lot. So that's really cool to have this kind of remembering what was happening 10 years ago for me, you know, as a musician. And to be honest, on the flight, I was like, oh, Lord, why am I going to Virginia, you know? The flight was long from California, and I was like, trying to think about my whole life. I even was like whining on Twitter. I was like, oh, think about my whole life on this flight, I erased it. I was like, oh. But then you get to a place, then I see friends, and that's really cool. I forgot about that. I know it's weird, but I was like, as soon as I saw Brad and justmadnice, I was, you know, and Ra, I was just like, I really like these people. And it made me feel good. And I love history, so I got a chance to walk around, and I was like, I love learning. And I love pushing these kind of markers of that's just like stating the history about what's actually going on, what have people done since the 1800s. I mean, I know this is a long answer, but basically I was not happy. But now I'm happy. And I even bought a loop pedal earlier. I was gonna buy a guitar too. That's how happy I was. I was like, what is it, 300? Let me come back. How heavy is it, you know? So I feel really blessed and positive, and I have a lot in my mind to take home, which is like awesome. So I would say it's pretty successful.
I feel, I guess simple words, gooey, thinking about like that space, super light, and sort of like I went through like a beautiful exorcism, you know?
I like that gooey word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gooey.
Yeah, I do feel gooey.
I feel like you just mentioned that you had collaborated with Moor Mother before Ohbliv. You produced the original album. I just wanted to, Ra, I know you have collaborated with Moor Mother consistently. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this kind of reunion in a way, and how does it feel to kind of be reunited? And maybe if you can talk a little bit about the connection point between the original time you met and now. Whoever wants to start.
Well, Moor Mother and I, we met 10 years ago. She had a show with her band. Was it the Mighty Paradox, I think?
It was the side project of that, Girls Dressed as Girls.
Right. She was right. She was.
Everyone knows Girls Dressed as Girls, but that was a band I was in. Oh, there's a mic beside me. You heard that, right? I was in that band.
Yes. And it was a grimy show. It was low down. You know, I was playing beats, and there was rappers and, you know, punk bands and all types of stuff. So to go forward, you know, 10 years and to see where, you know, where everybody's at now and how we've, you know, grown in so many ways in our art and our thinking, I feel very content. I feel the openness. I feel things like come full circle with a better understanding of who people are in the art itself. So yeah, it's a great feeling, you know, to link back up and with old friends and meet new friends, and really put down like some really powerful work. So yeah.
Yeah. So Moor Mother, I guess you found me from the internet, Instagram. Yeah, and you know, I guess I don't know. I don't know how long it's been. What is time? I don't know. But from the last performance until now, I just feel like, you know, reuniting is just a blessing. I get to create with you and all of you, and each new person that you bring on is always just like sort of, I don't know what magic power you have in finding people, but there's always this like similar like openness to just be here and create. And so to be back in this space and to be able to like share that all with you and just be vulnerable on stage and feel like it's safe to do so, it is, yeah, it's a blessing. So I'm sitting here feeling grateful.
I think we met, was it your music video? I think that was the first thing that we did. What a day. Just like out behind a house, well, not just a house, but, and sort of you leaving me. You know, you sort of were, there was a camera and you were like, okay, so I saw what you can do. Here's the camera, I'm gonna go. And you like went and you smoked a cigarette, and then you came back, you're like, how are you? And I'm like, good. And then you like went away. But I think like something about like what you're saying, this openness, like, and then like I think, oh, I hate the word, but like this humanness inside of it, the way that you're not like asking us to like leave things at the door. You're not asking us to like come in and be like happy. And I think that's like really, I think learning the particular, I don't know, the intricacies of working with like your vast compassion is, yeah, that was, that was a lot. But yeah.
That's
you know?
so sweet.
I mean, honestly, that it's just illuminating even for me to just kind of know all the connecting points between each person, and also to kind of give a context, like, you know, to have collaborated with you in a certain context and to kind of be a part of the family in a certain way, and now to be back, I feel like this is all, we all have these, like, we ping off of each other, we pinged again, how are we doing, how is it going, what has happened since we last touched each other. Like, I just feel like it's very rare to kind of just have those reflections, so that's why I wanted to start with that. So thank you for those responses. My next question is actually something that kind of came up thinking about, you know, sitting in the audience and watching what was going on, but, you know, all this is happening in the context of Richmond, and you're talking about walking around during the day, how you felt. I was listening and thinking about some of the vocalizations that were specifically about the city of Richmond, thinking about the James River, Jackson Ward, the deep history, you know, when Black folks migrated to these cities, and that's how I kind of started off the introduction, just thinking about Chicago, Philly, New York, these cities in which our families landed to up north, and now thinking about being in Richmond specifically. How do you choose to bring in that kind of content into your work? And not just a question for you, but like for Ohbliv, I know you're native, so you know, I would love to hear a little bit about your just experience kind of performing here at the ICA as a native, you know, maybe not a native, but I'll just say a Richmonder. And for you two, just thinking about how do you respond to space, this space and time. So I'll let you begin, Cami.
Oh, I would say that one part is about kind of being brave and taking a chance. You know, I do this every city I go to because I don't like to put things on people. I like for people to be able to like be a part of that gooey, that stickiness, to be like, oh, I'm involved in this too. You know what I mean? I really love doing that. And it's just like, it's so much history right in front of your face here. I wanted to go even deeper. You know, I said earlier, I was inspired by this marker that I saw, the execution of Gabriel. I'm sure some of you saw it by the, that bridge, you know, and that to me is just like so much. I was, in the past year or so, awarded this creative capital, which with my collective Black Quantum Futurism. And what we're going to do starting next year in August, we will return to Richmond and we will be making this album and building this archive on the Confederate States, you know? So all of this, everything is all part of the same kind of, you know, interests, you know, to really go deep into a place, you know. So yeah, I will, you know, leave it there. But one thing I will say about the folks up here is that I literally searched, you know, for them. And I even remember my first album when I reached out to you for a beat, I was nervous, you know? I was like, this kid's a big deal. Yeah, we know from Richmond, but you know what I mean? And just like, it's this kind of chance, and it's about meeting people, you know, where they are. Sometimes you want to collaborate with someone because they have a lot of Spotify listens or they're popular over here and all of this reasons. And I'm always saying that it's about the person, you know? So it's not like all these people are at my disposal or something, you know? It's like I got to search and hope that the energy is there, and also trust people that they know what they're doing, you know? So I know there's a confidence thing, but if I see and I hear, I'm not gonna put you in some situation where where you're like, oh, I'm lost, oh, this is hard, you know? And I would take that from coaching little kids in basketball. You don't wanna put little Susie out there. If Susie can't catch, you gotta put Susie in a position where they could add to the game. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's that, like, already, I don't need to say anything to you. But I do got to respond to the emails better and more communication, stuff like this. But, you know, they seem fine with it. And they're, you know, giving me a chance to also grow. So they're not looking at me like I already have it together. They're giving me space, just like I'm giving them space to do what they've been working and care about and they're passionate about.
And Rob, before you respond, I just want to add something to this question for you specifically, since you are not just responding to the city of Richmond, but you also have to respond to the environment, which is this auditorium and its particularities. So if that's something you want to talk about, I would love to hear more about it, because just being part of the sound check, you know, just to see how you all work together, it's interesting. So for that, I add that onto your question.
So it's my first time here, which is exciting. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So in the same way that I was meeting this city, I was also meeting this space. And you were talking about how, or sort of both of you walk down the street and you kind of stumble into history, or you stumble into something deep or possibly traumatic. And there was this one moment when I was like on my ride over from the airport, when I was like scrolling through my phone, and then I was like, oh, I should be paying attention. But then there was like a statue that was like, I couldn't see the full statue, and I was like, ooh, perhaps we can't just, what is that statue? You know, perhaps I can't just casually absorb such a, absorb it through like a touristic lens almost. So when I come to this space, and when I come to the auditorium, and I come to the audience, the people that live here, and working with someone that lives here, and you're here, and you've been here, it becomes, speaking through the body, I sort of feel like this, because there's a lot that wants to, I don't want to speak through possession, but there's a lot that wants to sort of like fall out and ask the questions while we're all collectively opening space, because that's what happens, and that's what happened and will continue to happen, this sort of churning of space to sort of ask these questions and reevaluate history. Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody, if you want to respond to that, please.
Well, as somebody that's, you know, born and raised, it's easy to take for granted what you have right under your nose. Speaking to your point, you feel like this. There's so much that when it comes out, and I feel that is the energy in Richmond, in Virginia, but Richmond specifically, just based on all the history that's involved with this city. You know, we have, you know, Lumpkin's Jail, we have the slave trails, you know, we have all, you know, this was like the epicenter for a lot of important history that affects our people, right? So to be in this space right now and doing, you know, what we're doing and presenting the message that we're presenting, I'm grateful. It's beautiful. It's almost kind of frightening, because to feel that we actually have this type of power, and it can grow exponentially if we just maintain it and grow it and keep on having these talks and having these demonstrations and presentations. You know, so I'm grateful to have everybody in this space today so we can all experience this and feel that energy of, you know, the James River, you know, kind of like coursing through us right now.
Yeah, so you and I spoke a little bit outside before the performance, and you were sort of mentioning all of this history, and as I was sitting there listening to you, as someone this is my first time here, I was just like, it's kind of wild to be sitting in this space that feels very new, and like to not have any sort of evidence of this history that's like in your face, but then to hear someone who's born and raised, and just like you were telling me even just how different this particular space was when you were going to school here, and how there was just so much crime, and like it wasn't like you couldn't just like be sitting out or whatever, right? And so it's just like wild to almost like inhabit such a space where time is happening, like it's folding on top of each other. It's just like this book, right? And I was just like, a little bit got me kind of excited to perform, because I felt like that energy, as you were saying with the river, would just come out through being here, through the song, through just like being available to whatever history is like totally present in the air, and like letting that come out, because I know that we're all connected to it. Like I could feel it now. So I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think I'm just in awe, really, of the passage of time and the way that spaces change, and the way that time, though it's moving forward, is still like folding on top of itself, and we're experiencing everything that happened in the past now. So yeah, I'm just cut it there.
No, that's great. That's great. You know, somebody who has moved here, like I said, I was up north. I was in Chicago. I was in New York, and just to be on the bank of the James River and the slave trail, and just to kind of see the point in which we were brought into the country, in where we migrated from. Obviously, we only have a sort of limited perspective of that history, because we know what has happened to our families from that point on. But then to come here and just be like, oh, this is a kind of origin point. Like, this is where we were disembarked, and to be on the banks of the river, it's powerful, it's traumatic, it hurts, you feel things. It's not just a monument, it's not just a plaque, it's not just this and that, it's a lot more than that. So I appreciate those responses, because I'm always curious, now that I've been here for a couple of years, just to hear more about how people who haven't been here before, respond to that. So thank you. I just have like 2 more prompts, and then we'll open it up to questions. And my prompt is more about the nuts and bolts of the performance itself. I kind of animatedly talked about no rehearsals, just vibes at the beginning. But I wanted to talk about, how do you respond to each other in the moment of the performance? So if you can go back into performance brain, pull out, even if it's just one particular moment where you're like, I heard this, I decided to do this. Or if you can talk about, as collaborators previously, how do you, particularly for you and Moor Mother, who collaborate consistently, how does that relationship work? But for those of you who, like, how did you do today? How did that work? Anybody?
For me, it's just more about, like, I had one moment, or like 3 moments, where I didn't know I didn't plan to smile. I was reading poetry, and then Justmadnice hit this note, and I smiled, and I was like, oh. Like, I don't know if you ever, like, a smile punch you in the face, like all of a sudden you smiling. And I was like, damn. And then it happened again. And then another time, I started snapping my fingers, because I watched this show, Legendary. Y'all don't know Legendary. Y'all know Legendary? So, just like, that kind of like, and I had this moment where I had toured with the Art Ensemble of Chicago, and I kept finding myself just smiling on stage, being like, this is beautiful. And I was like, I'm here to do something. I can't be swaying. And so it's kind of happened tonight, because everyone's so talented, and I know what they can do. And so that brings it in. I just be like, ooh, and then some of the flavors you was bringing out, I was like, and I'm just like, wait a minute, So that part, but that happens. You enjoy stuff, like things hit you and you feel it. And, usually I'm real narrow focused, but I was, the surprises of improv, the things that happen, you never, those are the stuff that you don't, that's that unknown, that's that spirit, that's the things that come into you and also have you thinking, you know? Because I don't know if you heard everything I said, but with those moments pushed me to this kind of thing where I was saying, okay, we're not afraid. We were here before. Let's go. Let's remember what's happening. And that came. Yeah. Because I was going to go, you know, to the money and the sugar and the, you know? But, you
There's
know,
so much
we're
of
all
that.
listening to each other. We're all taking each other to these different vibrations. And I don't try to, you know, go with the flow of it.
Any other responses to that?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, it's all about listening, and I try with you, Moor Mother. I know there was like a moment where you just kept like sweet for some reason really just stuck with me, and that's so sweet, and we were just like going back and forth with the so sweet, so sweet. I'm like, yes, I don't know what is so sweet, but it's so sweet. And yeah, it felt really like, I love those moments where you really feel like you're connected and just like riffing off of each other. And then the same with you, and like I don't know what beat it was, and I stood up and I started dancing, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna sing right now. I couldn't. I'm like, it's okay. I don't have to sing. There can be space for some movement. So I think, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, you have to be open. You just have to like, there's the trust in each other, and then there's the trust in yourself of like, okay, my body wants to do this, I'm gonna let it do it. Yeah.
I came in here today in mad darkness. I had no idea. I said, I know we're gonna do something cool, but I don't know exactly what. So, you know, throughout the day, you know, we did, you know, sound checking and all this, and I see everybody like they were on their grind. They were focused. Everybody had their job and their mission, and everybody was on it. So I went into tonight with no worries, because I knew that everybody knew the mission that had to be accomplished, and we all have it inside of us. So I had no worries at all. You know, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I had no worries.
Yeah, super confident that we all were gonna tweak out a bit, you know, as usual. But like actually, it was so nice to really get a chance to like sit in like the center and like watch and like still be in it, but like really like sway, like you're sort of saying, but like it was almost, there were some greedy moments for me, because I literally, like, I don't know, people probably were paying attention to me, but I got the chance to actually watch you all. And I was like doing like a 2-strand twist and like observing, like just like scanning and being like, whoa, like letting my body sink into it, but also letting myself know sort of the intricacies of what's happening. Because I think at that point you were like really you were starting to like ramp up the text, like everything you were saying, but it was coming out of this like really light esoteric thing that was already building. And in the moments, there was a lot of dance that was happening like in the rehearsal. And so when the rhythms came, I obviously wanted to like follow them more, like follow them more with my body visually, like show that. But I remembered that there are multiple realities. One where I am swaying, one where I'm catching the rhythms you're throwing down, the other where I'm inside of the rich horrors of the text, and the last, where I'm like falling into the prettiness of what's happening with you and Elijah. So there was no room for regret, and there never is inside of this like whirlwind
Yes.
Yes. I'll just have one more prompt, and it's specifically about a vocalization I heard. So I don't know if I can quote it exactly as it was, but it was kind of towards the end. There was kind of like this kind of climax moment where I'm catching on to the read the bones passage in the text, and you said read the bones. We've been here before Earth, and if you wanted to, I want to know what's that about. Tell me something about it. Yeah. Something extra. It doesn't have to be an explanation. I'm just I want to know more. And this is a question, an answer I need for me.
Okay, well, it's kind of layered, because I read parts of things, and then I improv through, right? Mm-hmm. So in February, I did this show in Paris, and it actually was cool because it was with Saul Williams. We did a duo, or not a duo, but we tag teamed or whatever on the words. And I just was like, we're on Earth, just carrying this kind of, I kind of say this planet is a scene of a crime, this kind of thing. So I'm just like, I want to bring this Earth into the text, into this kind of flow of this improv. Like, we need to bring it in perspective. And then, so I also had this line about bag of bones thrown out into the cosmos. Let's see how they land, float, read the bones. This kind of thing that flips it. Because I don't know if you picked up on this when I was talking about all these universities that are keeping these,
Yes.
So I was, because sometimes, and we say this a lot in Black Quantum Futurism in Philly and Metropolarity, that sci-fi is reality. So it's not like these things are happening in real time, Usually when someone's like, read the bones, they're like, that's horrorcore. She's so metal. And it's like, no, I'm not. Y'all don't even know. If you want some horror, like, we can go there. This ain't it. This ain't even to the light of the John. You heard me? This is like the truth, and we got to accept it as this kind of Black Mirror dissolving, if that makes sense. I saw about 5 episodes, so maybe it doesn't. But, this kind of like breaking down this myth of this can't happen. And this myth of what a university, because once things in capitalism, once you get that branding going, you get that tagline going, we are a school, we are a museum, we are an education and services, all of this kind of thing. You get that tag, that rewrites the memory. You rename the street, that rewrites the memory, So kind of getting into that, because all these places are dangerous places. Mm-hmm. Institution was never a pretty word. No one's like, the institution covered in roses. No, it's like a place where it's a laboratory, okay? All of this stuff. So, I tell people we have to change the definitions. I just started working at a school, and I'm like, I told my students, I said, this ain't no school, university. This is your own private garden. And you better go out and plant your seeds and take all the vegetables and anything you want. It's no university. What are you walking around talking about a university for? You know what I mean? What is this place for you? So kind of, breaking that down. And what was here before this place? Okay? So, yeah. I can send you that poem about the bones.
The we were here before Earth moment.
That's when, are we going to get into it?
We don't have to. If you don't have to get into it. You don't have to get into it.
No, but
get into it. No.
It's real. It's
get into it if you
real.
want to.
Like, what are we thinking? We thinking there's this big bang. We're thinking of this, how are we coming here? How are we so, we have this trouble of accepting how blessed we are and how beyond we are, because we're just like, oh, Earth, monkeys, Big Bang, Einstein, eugenics, you know what I mean? Like, we kind of go down that kind of path, and then we feel the weight. That's what I say a lot about the waiting, We start to feel that weight to forget who we are. And if we look at the history, they've done so much to continue to keep these pieces, whether it's pretending to believe in Catholics, the whole saints and all of that, but hiding them in, indigenous ways of worship and indigenous gods and this kind of thing. So it's a lot of that, but we're not even ready to deal with that because we're still with this crime, this scene of this crime, the aftermath of this. But that's why we have to get out of this kind of time restraint, that tells us we're just 16, 19. I should have read some of that. But from 16, 19, these starting points, these timelines, who's privileged enough to make it on the timeline, to make it on the docket of who came here. We need to get rid of that kind of man-made timeline. It's just like a map. It's the eye of the interpreter who's making it. You make all these kinds of maps. You can make a map and say this is true. That's just what a map is. You don't got to be a mapologist. You don't have to be a time whoever to understand how these ways or modes of thought are oppressive. Basically, that's what I'm saying. You could check out Black Quantum Futurism because we talk a lot about this stuff on the website. Everyone's like, do an interview. We put this website together for all the answers and the information. Yeah. But still, people want to ask me these basic questions, and we're not going to get anywhere if you ain't going to read the website and go to the next conversation with me. That's what it's about, just, So, but do you think about this thing, the reptilians and all of that? You get into that kind of stuff? And the different planets and interdimensional space travel and...
Oh, I do.
We're from Sirius B.
We would have to talk about that over some drinks.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We could talk about
Sirius
that.
B. We're from Sirius B.
You got a response?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I already got my
we're all
spot on the
interested.
spaceship.
We're all invited.
That's cool. Okay.
Okay, let's open it up. Maybe this is because you brought up the dumb question moment. Well, not a dumb question. You brought up the question, the simple question that can be responded to via a website. So I want to open it up.
I didn't mean to be so cunt.
I want to open it up, but I want to open it up in a way that is not just about questions, but we're talking about responses. We're thinking about responses, we're thinking about questions, we're thinking about a moment. So it might not be about call and response to anybody up here. It could be very specifically that, but keep it respectful, keep it, within the atmosphere, and let's do it.
First of all, thank you all for being here. It was so nice to witness you all mind meld. It was a real privilege, and too many cooks ruin a dish does not apply here, it seems. It's excellent. My question is about the video that was shown during the performance. It melded so well with what you guys did, and I would just love to know who made it. Aw, well done.
David made it. We had a few conversations on the email about having some sort of visual component. And like I've been saying here, we're in Richmond. David presented some ideas about archival stuff and I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point. To bring in, Richmond as much as possible. And I'm so thankful that David took the care to understand what was important to show, you know, and Brad had brought up the James River, and that was very prominent in the piece. Thanks for the comment, the praise too. Thank you so much.
Yo, up here. My son is asleep, so I'm gonna just be his bed for the moment. I have a question, and so how could you do like black quantum futurism for kids? I don't want to oversimplify what you all do, but for example, me and Brad go way back in so many words. And I'm at the point now as a husband and now as a parent where I listen to like his music, but I also use it to sleep train my son. So his last project, Give Thanks, I post about it often on social media. I'll start it with the daily reminder, and then like by the time it gets to romantic black comedy, this man is out. So how could I get some more mother for the kids and for the youth? Because what you all have been saying is very powerful as far as considering the history of Richmond, you know, being the epicenter of human trafficking for African American people, right? And look at how far we've come and accomplished in this time. But like, what can we do so that, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and even after we're gone, you know, what can we do for people that are coming up after us? Like, and again, that's not to oversimplify, but like, have you ever thought about trying to put this in the form of like a kid's book?
Yeah, we work with youth all the time. And we kind of have this approach where we're talking about these. I mean, this is what Black quantum futurism is like, I'm not a physicist, you know what I mean? But I'm saying, hey, you can have thoughts about this. You don't have to go into the university to be able to be interested in whatever you're going to be interested in. You know, I'm interested in history, and actually it's now just the interest has taken me places, you know? But what we do with kids, one simple like workshop that we do is we study, or we got all these clips of like Marvel movies, superhero movies, and we show them the clips and we say, okay, how many people of color did you see in this? Okay, what were they doing? You know, okay, now let's look at the women in this. What are they doing? Who's not represented in this? And it becomes fun to them to be like, oh, look at this other perspective, you know? And I was thinking about that 10 years ago when I came to Richmond. I didn't think about these historical markers. Maybe they wasn't there yet, because some of them said 2011. Okay, so I wasn't thinking about that. We were at the thrift shop, we was hanging, you know, like we was getting some beers. I didn't think about any of that. And I think about all the ways where my mind was at that time. And I also think about the people that are working 2 jobs and have kids and don't have the time to really, you know, take to look at this stuff that's all around, you know? I think the idea is not to have this prerequisite. You feel me? Really install that into like the youth, you know? You don't have to go into music school. You don't have to be a trained vocalist to just build a relationship with your voice, build a relationship with sound, build a relationship, you know, outside of thinking about installation. How does you know, these kind of ways, installation's also very interesting to young people. You know, how can we make this space more you? Let's keep thinking about that. What else, what colors, what's your color? You know, this kind of thing of like getting into the world, getting into the senses of what we're interested in, what we like, what smells make us feel good. This kind of thing of, that's the quantum part, to be able to just break these down into these kind of simple ideas. And also a lot of that redefining things. We got a project called Time Capsules, about quantum time capsules, and what does that mean? You know, we have a project about maps. How can we, what's the maps of our city? What's missing? You know, I even saw one on the street as I was walking, so this is a thing that's coming into social art social practice is about remapping what we want. And that's fun to kids, you know, like map your world. We have another one that's a housing journey map. All the places that you lived and moved through your life. You know, why'd you move here? Why are we moving here? What happened to the neighbor? You know, these kind of things that young people are really excited about once they're presented, you know. I hope that's enough. But you can go look on the website, and there's a tons of stuff. And I'm not saying that to be cunty, okay? But I'm just saying we really care about the youth, and we want to do more. As far as books for the youth, I'm working to get a book deal. It's really hard. So once I get in there, then I'm bring everybody in there. You know what I mean? But I'm just working on that part right now, actually. That was long. But the question was deep, right? With the kids.
No, you had to give it your all. You had to give it. It's time.
Not so much a question, but more like a comment. I hope you do get a loop pedal.
I did get the loop pedal.
Oh, that shit is fire.
Yeah, I bought it.
Once I got a loop pedal, it changed my life. And then for Ohbliv, like, I guess, like, because there's been this, like, constant, like, in this conversation talking about, like, Richmond, like, I heard Richmond in, like, your beats. You know, like, the way you cut and screw and you sample, I'm just like, that's, like, a hella Richmond, like, that's, like, the intro of, like, every, like, little Ugly Mane song.
Hey, that's my man, yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
That's, like, like, Nicholas F., all of that, like, I heard that in there, so like I really appreciate it and love that. And then like I'm sorry I forgot your name, but like the dancer, my favorite moments for you was like when you would like use your nails. A girl loves a good set. So like, you know, and also like seeing you move around the space, like sound only does so much, like vibration wise, but like physically seeing you like move around the room and like activate the space in that way, like seeing you dance with the sound was like really nice, and like I really appreciated that. And as far as the question goes, when it comes to the performance, are there moments where, because of so many things that you're talking about, and like Moor Mother, like you were like the underbelly of this performance, like the way you were speaking and like all of that. But are there any moments in which you decide, like, for the sake of the performance, like, do I hold back or do I like completely let go? And talking about like this one specifically, were there moments in which any of you were like, okay, I'm getting a little too into it. I gotta remember there's like other voices in here. I'm gonna hold back and let them speak. Or was there a time where you just like were like, this is my moment, let me just have it? I don't know if that makes any sense.
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel any moment to be like hold back or anything like that. My monitor had a lot of reverb coming through. So I was like, you know, I had to like pile the bell a little bit a couple times. But that's the only thing. Usually it's technical. You know what I mean? That also is part of the show also. The sound people, the sound person, the monitors, all the wires. These are not God's wires. You know what I mean? They break, they feed back, they pop. Things are electric, you get me? So that's also in this space. I don't know if anyone else.
Well, personally for me, I kind of did have that in mind. Because I mean, if you know my beats, you know, like they can get, you know, there's all types of modes, you know. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to play anything that was too rigid. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to keep the space and the openness so everybody, you know, can have space to do their thing also. And I felt like that was important, and you know, listening, you know, it's all about listening and being present in the moment, you know. So that was definitely on my mind. So
There were, so I didn't hold back in relationship to the other performers, but I think, weird word, but like out of respect for like the people that made this space for us, like David and like all of like stage, the people that helped us today, I didn't break anything. I really, and like inside of this container, it's actually like really hard to not like let your, like your body sort of wants, well, my body wants to break something. I got a little satisfied when like I was lifting up the platform and like the wheels were falling out. It felt like a continuation of sort of the undoing that was happening inside of rehearsal. I wanted to like beat on that glass when I was up there. There was a bottle that I wanted to break. So in that sense, there was so much that I was holding back for that. But I also don't think if I did those things that it would overpower anyone. I don't think that's how this container works. Yeah. I mean, I scratched the floor.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all for this conjuring, really, tonight. I've really been blessed to be in your all's presence. It seems to me that, to a certain degree, you all have a particular relationship to frequency, whether it's expressed in a kinesthetic kind of form, whether it's expressed in a sonic kind of form, a spoken kind of word. I think you all are really pushing us to really think about Black studies, not just something that you do, something that you say, but something that you practice. And I'm wondering about what might you all have been working out here, thinking about Black frequencies, and what might you all have been working out sonically or kinesthetically for yourselves and for us in the room. Y'all know what I mean.
So I think for me, I was working through a lot of anger and grief. I think that's what was coming out, even though the tones that came through maybe are beautiful sounding, there's still that like element of pain. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a lot of it. And then also, oddly enough, I know you said greedy, that you were being greedy and you were like watching us or whatever. And I felt like I also had a moment of greediness, of just like dancing to your music, not really worrying about like if anybody cared if I danced. And I feel like those moments were also really important to just like be like, this is for me, especially as like a Black person and a queer Black person. I'm like, this is for me. So yeah.
Hello. Hi. I've been trying to like map it out through this, so I think my question might be a little jumbled. But I wanted to know how like y'all felt like the river, like the relationship to the river came through in the piece, and also there were like, Moor Mother. I know you used the word like waiting at some point during, and also like. I know you touched on this already, but talking about like memory, and wanted to know more. I want to know like how like the water tied into like the memory. Like I know that I've read some of Alexis Pauline Gumbs' work, and she talks about like Alexis Pauline Gumbs, and then there's like the work that talks about like it's like I think it's Archive of Water. And it talks about water and memory. And so I was like curious, like, yeah, how the river shines through in that, and like what y'all like thought about like, there were like moments that felt like really like trance-like there was a lot of repetition, and like how y'all feel that like about like that kind of practice of like, like sampling yourselves like does like what that repetition like adds to like what you're saying, or like how that changes it. Yeah, I think that's my question.
I would say that, with collaboration, it makes it easier. And it makes it easier because more energies are being called into the room. You get me? So, and especially the wide array, like we had conversations, you're talking about your, family losing a home and this, you know what I mean? It's like all these energies we like pull into the room. So at some point you gotta like let the magic happen. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm always writing about water, and I learned that's even in my name, Kamei, is like about the water, and it's about this idea of the mother, So yeah, it's like something that's always speaking or being called and pulled into the room. I can't think of the poems, but for this album, Who Sent You by Irreversible Entanglements, that's a good one because it's a lot about this kind of water and what's under the water. The water is the most musical place on the planet. Underneath the water, we didn't even know that. We thought it was something else, the loud birds, or I thought it was the birds. You know what I mean? They're always singing, but woo, underneath the deep ocean, the deep sea, it's so musical, So it's all of that. It's not just animals, it's volcanoes, it's ships breaking. You can check out that album. Hope that answers what you're saying.
Is it? Oh, it is on. I'm realizing in this moment I'm having issues with the lens in my right eye, and it's been like this since I got them. These lenses aren't weighted; they spin freely. I have no control over like which direction. So there's that slit there, but like I have no idea if the slit is upright. I have no idea if they're like matching. There's an unweightedness and a free spinning. Makes me think of rims on cars, on tires, I guess. And thinking more literally of water, I probably could drop a tear from this eye because there's also something wrong with this lens. There's like, I think it has like an extra piece like right on the surface. So every time I blink, there's like a scratch on my eyelid. Thinking of memory and the fact that I have to like deal with that. I have to maybe think of pace. I have to question dryness over comfort. These are just ideas, I don't know. But your question plus my body, plus time, plus Alex being like, my eyes are dry, an hour ago, post-show, like, thank you for that.
So I think, I don't see any other questions in the audience, so I think, one more, okay.
Hi, I'm in my early 20s and I really got into Afrofuturism in like late high school when Solange's album When I Get Home, and it really Solange's album When I Get Home really got me into Afrofuturism in high school, and I wanted to ask you about how do you apply that kind of thinking to your daily life, because it really changed my life, just the concept in itself. So.
I never heard this album. Soon as I get home?
When I Get Home.
When I Get Home, Solange. When I Get Home, Solange.
It's like really inspired by like
this Afrofuturism?
Yeah, it's like it has a movie attached to it about like Texas, and like it's really hard to describe, but it's on Criterion and like stuff like that, and it's really inspired by Sun Ra and things of that nature. It's like
it's jazz?
it's like it's Neil's.
Sorry, I'm so interested.
Yeah.
No, this is for another time. I'm so sorry.
We could talk about it afterwards.
I'm sorry.
But like, how do you apply that kind of thinking of like, we don't know where we come from, so we look to space?
I mean, it's a difficult perspective because I grew up in a town called Aberdeen, Maryland. It was about, when I was coming up, it was about 4,000 people in this town. And the neighborhood I lived in was like affordable housing, and it was all black. So it was so rich, you know what I mean? There was nothing that I needed to go outside my community to understand where I came from. I had this really rich upbringing, whatever. Yeah, so I always was into this stuff as a little kid. You know, I saw Public Enemy when I was 9, you know, on the Fight the Power tour. Okay, this kind of thing. I don't know if it was the Fight the Power tour. I don't know what tour it was, okay? But, oh my goodness, you know, it just put a fire under me. You know, and that's what we created out of Afrofuturism. We created Black Quantum Futurism. I think that's the kind of goal, because Afrofuturism, so-called coined by Mark Derry, this cultural critic, he has nothing to do with it. You know, this is just him trying to write some article, trying to be like, what's this stuff called? This is interesting. There's black people thinking about the future. Like, what? We've always been thinking about the future, and the more that you do the history and study, you're gonna find out so much cool stuff. And that's what the end of the piece was about, being so sweet and like understanding being before, because it's like, whoa, once you start to tap into it, it's so powerful, you know, what we are a part of and where we are going, you know? But you gotta break out of this kind of doomsday scenario, right? And you also gotta, you know, we talked about boundaries earlier. What you stand for? What are you no longer gonna believe? What are you no longer gonna carry around with you? You know what I mean? Speculation is really important, okay? Because first, you gotta say that I can speculate on this. Usually they don't, but they allow scientists to have this hypothetical guess. Why they get to guess and you can't guess? And use whatever's been brought up with you, things that you learn, to make an opinion on something. You get me? I feel like that's like Afrofuturism to me, just like taking that bold step to be like, you know what, I think something fucked up happened over here, because look at that building, and then look at these people, and how they get here. You get me? These questions, we are allowed to say it, and we have very valuable information in response to it. Just because it's called speculation. Let's just, you know, call it whatever we want. You know, I don't know, then it starts to come into a motivational speech. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, we're the real deal, okay? Dig into ourselves, dig into yourself, dig into your families. It's so much treasure out there, you dig me? I'll end it at that.
Oh, I just want to say, you said that like we don't know where we come from, but I feel like it's important to mention that like I may not be able to like articulate it, I may not be able to say the words of like pinpoint it on a map, like this is where I come from, but I feel like I know where I come from, like it's in us. Like maybe we don't have it, like maybe I can't like grab it, show it to somebody else, but it's definitely there. We have an origin, you know what I'm saying? And like, I just think that it's important to like acknowledge that, say that, claim that, like where you come from is in you and you know it somewhere deep down inside, whether that, and it maybe it comes out in like the way that you walk or whatever, you know? Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to end. I just wanted to thank everybody again for being here and being present amongst all of this. I want to thank Ohbliv. I want to thank justmadnice. I want to thank Moor Mother. I want to thank Vitche-Boul Ra for being here. And I also want to thank you all.
We want to thank you.
No.
Yeah.
No. First of all, just let me say a couple seconds. First of all, you did a wonderful job on this panel talk thing, but you're also like an amazing visual artist that brings so much color to the world, and we need that. That's important. I was talking about, I went to see Takashi, the famous Japanese art exhibit, and it felt like color therapy. But what you do, Wody, you're like that color therapy that's not just for adults, but it's also reaching children. You get me? It's that Steven Universe, like, I don't know if y'all have kids, but you seen a kid smile to, what's that show? The boy with the little big head. Caillou. You know, and I think hopefully next time that we all come together, because we will come together again, hopefully we can get some of your artwork behind it on the projector.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Oh, I'll be grateful just to be in the universe. I'll be managing the tambourine otherwise, but thank you for that. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's go get a drink.
Okay. And a big thank you to David Riley for the third test pattern and for launching the most amazing program that I have attended. Massive hand. Thank you so much.